Hi, this is Goddess Renix Seer, and for another discussion, talk about my animated story coming out, The Prophecy of the Seer. It's about me and my spiritual warfare, what I've been going through in my life. Let's see, it starts in July of 2022, right? I don't really quite, yeah, there's certain things I want to leave out, but it starts in July of 2022. Let's go through the slides where you come into contact with someone who ends up turning out to be your twin, right? And I hope you can hear me. Otherwise, turn it up. Okay, so it starts in July 2022, where my twin gets into an accident. I don't know he's my twin, right? The more that you pour into being caring and being loving towards somebody, the more that you begin to wake up and see how very connected you are. So I guess, the time that I'm talking to him, I become more inspired to do different things, right? So in September of 2022, I decide to start going to the dentist to take care of myself, right? Because I have a job, and at the time I'm part-time. So it's like, okay, let me start taking care of myself, right? So I call the dentist, set up an appointment. October 2022, I go in for a consultation. They're going to take out my rotten tooth that I had here. So in November of 2022, I get the rotten tooth taken out, and I just blossom. Or I feel so much better, like, the life is like back in me. So, but all through this time, but I don't even want to say that. I think it's, so, through all that time, the end of 2022, and the end of 2022 and the beginning of July of 2023. Woo, get it together. Hold on. I'm scattered right now. Because it coincides with my life, coincides with my twin's life and everything that was going on. When I talk about, there was a witch coven involved in keeping us separate. He had 3 women around him that were particularly involved with keeping us separate. So there was illusions, love spells, death spells, sex spells, everything was used to keep us apart and everything. But see, the thing is, I listened to this one, and this one reading, and it goes deeper than that, Like I was saying, the gang stalking started around this time, where you have African men, fake accounts of the military people, wanting to ask you out, say things. They get personal information from you. And this is a whole, and all this personal information that they get from you is, this is a whole lot of things. I'm just trying to tell my story. And there's a whole lot of things and a whole lot of variations, and not variations, but like ways that you can, there's a whole lot. I just, it's hard for me to say it. Um, there, so the the battle is to steal my destiny, right? So you put somebody in place to, which is the false flame, to distract your flame from knowing who they are. For the longest time, he didn't know who I was, but I knew who he was, because his rejection is what woke me up. It is what drew me closer to God. And that's when I discovered my strengths and my weaknesses and my gifts, and I discovered who my what my purpose is and who I am. All in his rejection. So all through 2023, it just was all this whole gang stalking. And he went back to the Leo in like August of 2023. Yes, it was a shock, but I couldn't understand why he wasn't getting my messages. But it's coming into place now, because all through 2023 I was talking to him, and he was listening, but he wasn't getting it. I don't think he didn't get it. But I was still pouring into myself, going to the dentist, doing things. I went to a car show. I went to a Jesus walk. You know, just doing things for myself. And and it's crazy, because the path that I'm doing for myself right now is the path that he's doing. It's crazy how the parallels, there's patterns. And I'm reading this book called The Druid Path right now, and I didn't realize that Druids saw patterns in life. And I see patterns in life. But anyways, it's just, the more that you study and the more that you learn, the more you sit here and you can piece together, because we're all connected. So what happened was, so he blocks me in July of 2024. I get fired, I get fired from my job, or I get laid off from my job in April 2024, which is, all these attacks and all these obstacles came from these 3 women. Possibly a family member too, right? I have multiple people and multiple groups of people attacking me. It's not just one person attacking me. It's a community of people attacking me. So everybody's throwing out a dart at me, and I'm dodging and getting through every one. So then the last one was the death spell in March of 2025. I know my family's involved, and I also know that his wife, my twin's wife, is involved too. Somebody got a hold of a family member of mine, right? Because all through the time I was talking about DNA and posting my DNA results and everything. Because in the process, I was finding myself. So somebody hit up a family member of mine. Probably their advice was to put a death spell on me in the month of March, right? Because my dad died in March and my grandma died in March. So it's like, okay, well, March is the month. And I immediately knew everything, right? Because I'm the high priestess. I knew what was going on. And I was told by Spirit to keep quiet because I saw something. Because all through this whole time, I've been watching my twin. All through this time, I was told to keep quiet. God said, no, just watch. Make them think that they won. Make them think that they won. So I stayed quiet. I would post every now and again. I wasn't that quiet. You can go back to my Instagram page starting in February. There's not many posts. March wasn't really that many posts, but I did post. April, May, in May of 2025, I sat down and I said, I need to tell my story. So I start telling my story. I start telling what I know. Because I knew all along who was involved and what was going on. My copycat. A false flame is the copycat of your true flame. And they know all of this. And they create illusions so that you forget and so that you don't, remember. So I spoke on it. And they broke up. So if I knew, he knew. He knows. He just refuses to see. And where I'm at right now is I'm still a little uncomfortable. But I'm a lot better than I was. And the thing about it is, what I want to go into hermit mode a little bit and study some more and dig in more and be at peace. But I want to tell my story because this is what's all been happening. And I knew. And the tarot readers are saying it. I'm posting readings from over a year ago. And they're still relevant now. This is coming out how involved the church coven trying to sacrifice me, a community of people, and these are people in the church, because I have family in the church, and I'm sure because one of the reasons why he rejected me was because of my religious beliefs and the way that I looked and the fact that you believed the lie. And see, I'm coming to the point now, as I'm in hermit mode, trying to just really focus on me. I'm beginning to understand how he felt in the very beginning. And, okay, that's fine. You didn't want to go through a spiritual awakening. And that's fine that you, that's fine that you wanted to break the soul contract that we have. I'm beginning to come into terms with how you felt. It hurts. But, and see, people have to understand the pattern. So there is patterns, right? I'm getting into my Druid, my Celtic lineage ancestry. So I'm learning that there's patterns. There is patterns. I see patterns in how my ex is my soulmate. This guy is my twin. His ex is his soulmate. But they're both unhealed. The goal is to heal. That is how you get your blessings from God. That's how you get the manna rain down on you, right? You have to heal. And you don't necessarily need to be with anybody. So I'm going back and forth, y'all. Y'all got to stay with me because it's a lot. Because you have a whole bunch of people going after you. And I'm sure that's what every chosen one. Our story is that we have so many people coming at us, trying to get us to deny our gifts, deny our position, deny our purpose, deny God's plan. So they can steal it from us, right? I mean, this is like a whole this is like a whole it's like a business. And as a divine feminine, it's your job to figure out what you do in your life. Do you want to take the route like Frozen too? Where the sister is being called, the spirits are calling her to go help a community out? Or is it going to be like Cinderella, Tiana, Snow White, Sleeping Beauty? Mulan, definitely Mulan, right? Because they work together. There's two ways in which things can happen. I think with Frozen too, it's like your twin doesn't wake up or he refuses his gifts. But then in Cinderella, Tiana, they find it. They find each other and they make it work. Tiana is very, the Princess and the Frog is very interesting. Because that's kind of pretty much what's happening in my life. But anyways, I need to go piece this together and write this down a little bit more so it can more be clear. Peace. Love you.